Aprilia's rise, Trackhouse boss Davide Brivio declares Ducati's reign not untouchable. Buoyed by Aprilia's stunning leap forward over the past 12 months, Trackhouse team principal Davide Brivio has thrown down the gauntlet, insisting that Ducati's era of dominance can, and will, be challenged. The 2025 MotoGP season has seen the most serious threat to Ducati's supremacy in years. Aprilia, once considered an underdog, has turned the RSGP into a fearsome weapon, fast, consistent, and increasingly capable of breaking the Italian giant's iron grip on the championship. Their charge began with back-to-back sprint victories in Mandalika and Phillip Island, and reached its peak when Raul Fernandez and Trackhouse utterly dominated the Australian Grand Prix, a statement performance that reverberated through the paddock. Though the following round in Malaysia brought them back down to earth, Aprilia's relentless progress throughout the second half of the year has reshaped the balance of power in MotoGP. The once clear hierarchy is now cracking, and Brivio believes the next 2 seasons could see it shattered completely. When asked by Motorsport.com if Ducati could be dethroned in 2026, Brivio didn't hesitate. "Yes, I think so. Of course, it's not easy. Ducati is very strong, and they still have some margin. But Aprilia is doing a great job. We're catching up, and KTM is catching up. Honda is improving. Yamaha will bring a V4 next year. Everyone is coming for Ducati." The Italian boss then hinted that the 2026 and 2027 seasons could mark a turning point for MotoGP's competitive landscape. 2026 might be a strange season, and 2027 could bring surprises. When big regulation changes come, the balance of power often shifts. Ducati remains the benchmark, but everybody wants to challenge them. And the numbers back him up. With 7 podiums and 2 Sunday victories, Aprilia has locked in second place in the manufacturer's standings heading into the Portuguese Grand Prix, already surpassing its 2024 total and leaving KTM well behind. But for Brivio, this surge wasn't a shock. It was the result of belief, and of talent quietly working behind the scenes. "I'm not surprised," he smiled. "I know the engineers at Aprilia, they're good. Fabiano Sturlacchini has arrived, full of energy and motivation. We've always had faith in this team. I'm proud of how we've caught up. Maybe not at every track, but when we're strong, we're a real threat to Ducati." For years, Ducati seemed untouchable, an empire of red machines and precision engineering. But Aprilia's black and red bullets have changed the narrative. They've turned belief into results, and ambition into fear for the reigning champions. And now, as MotoGP's next great reset approaches, Davide Brivio and Aprilia aren't chasing anymore, they're hunting. What once seemed impossible is now within striking distance. Ducati's seemingly invincible rule, built on years of engineering brilliance and a factory army of elite riders, is beginning to feel the tremors of a new uprising. And at the heart of that rebellion stands Aprilia, smaller, leaner, but hungrier than ever. Inside the Trackhouse garage, the mood has shifted. What started as cautious optimism has evolved into quiet conviction. Every mechanic, every engineer, every data analyst now moves with purpose, with the unspoken understanding that they are building something historic. Raul Fernandez's victory at Phillip Island wasn't just another win, it was a message. A message to Ducati. To KTM. To everyone who ever doubted that Aprilia could stand among the giants. For Brivio, it was proof that belief, when coupled with relentless work, can bend even the established order of MotoGP. When Raul crossed that finish line, it wasn't just about points, Brivio recalled. It was about pride. It was a signal that Aprilia is no longer the outsider. We're here to fight, and to win. The evolution of the RSGP mirrors the story of the people behind it, engineers who refused to accept limitations, riders who grew tougher through struggle, and a leadership team that dared to dream bigger. Each aerodynamic upgrade, each data breakthrough, is another brick in Aprilia's rising fortress. And the competition knows it. In paddock briefings, Ducati's senior figures have started to take Aprilia's datasheets more seriously. KTM's managers are quietly adjusting their 2026 plans to counter the Knoll-based squad. The whispers are growing louder. Aprilia is no longer the dark horse. It's a legitimate contender for the crown. Looking ahead, the 2026 season could become the first true test of MotoGP's shifting power. With Yamaha introducing its V4 and Honda beginning to regain its rhythm, the grid is bracing for one of the most unpredictable eras in recent history. Yet in this chaos, Brivio sees opportunity. "We know the challenge ahead is huge," he said. "But that's what makes racing beautiful. Ducati set the bar. Now, it's our turn to raise it." In the coming months, Aprilia's mission will intensify. New components are being tested, fresh aerodynamic concepts are in the wind tunnel, and the Trackhouse partnership continues to evolve into a formidable alliance. Every tenth of a second gained, every podium earned, chips away at Ducati's wall of dominance. Because for the first time in years, the MotoGP paddock feels something it hasn't felt in a long time: uncertainty. As the 2025 season winds toward its final chapters, the tension inside the MotoGP paddock feels electric, alive with the pulse of change. Ducati's red tide still roars through the grid, but for the first time in years, its reflection wavers. The empire isn't crumbling yet, but the cracks are visible. And Aprilia is the hammer daring to widen them. In Knoll, the heartbeat of Aprilia's revolution, the nights are long and sleepless. Engineers hunch over simulation data, searching for that elusive tenth of a second. Mechanics whisper about Mandalika, Phillip Island, the races that proved they could beat Ducati on pure performance. The hunger that started as a whisper has grown into a battle cry echoing through the factory walls. Meanwhile, in the Trackhouse pitbox, Davide Brivio's calm demeanor hides a storm of ambition. Each time he walks past the RSGP, he doesn't just see a motorcycle, he sees a symbol. A statement of defiance. Proof that ingenuity and unity can rewrite destiny. "We're not here to play safe," Brivio said with quiet fire. "We're here to change the story." Ducati's era has been magnificent, but no era lasts forever. Every dynasty falls. And maybe, just maybe, it's time for a new one to rise. That belief now fuels every lap Raul Fernandez and Miguel Oliveira complete. Every time they line up behind the red Desmercedes, they're no longer just chasing, they're hunting. The RSGP may still lack Ducati's brute power, but what it offers instead is intelligence, precision handling, fearless cornering, and an unshakable sense of momentum. MotoGP is entering a new frontier, one where the balance of power could shift overnight. The coming rule changes in 2027 promise chaos, creativity, and opportunity in equal measure. And in that storm, Aprilia may just find the perfect moment to strike. Behind the polished speeches and cautious optimism, Brivio knows what's really at stake. It's not just about trophies, it's about belief. About proving that a smaller factory, with less money and fewer resources, can still outthink the giants. That the spirit of racing, pure, rebellious, relentless, still burns brightest in those who refuse to give up. As the season hurtles toward its end, the story of Aprilia is no longer one of catching up. It's one of arrival. They've stopped chasing Ducati's shadow. They've stepped into the light. And in that light, one truth shines clearer than ever before: the hunters have become the hunted. As night falls over the paddock and the engines fall silent, the echoes of this MotoGP season linger in the air, charged with something no stopwatch can measure: belief. Ducati still stands tall, a machine empire of precision, power, and perfection. But somewhere in its shadow, Aprilia burns brighter than ever. The black and red RSGP gleams under the floodlights like a spark waiting to ignite the next great revolution in MotoGP. Inside the Trackhouse garage, Davide Brivio walks past his crew, tired faces, grease-stained hands, eyes that carry both exhaustion and pride. For a brief moment, he stops beside the Aprilia machine and runs a hand along its fairing. It's not just carbon fiber and bolts anymore, it's hope made tangible. "You can feel it," he says softly. "Change. It's coming." Ducati knows it. Everyone does. And he's right. The whispers have turned into murmurs. The murmurs into conversations. Rival engineers steal glances at Aprilia's telemetry, desperate to understand how the underdog from Knoll has gotten so close. Ducati's once effortless victories now come with sweat, risk, and strategy. The gap is closing, race by race, corner by corner. When the 2026 season begins, the red wall will face its toughest test yet. New engines. New rules. New ambitions. But beneath it all lies something no regulation can rewrite: the human spirit that refuses to be second. Brivio knows the odds. He's seen empires rise and fall before: Suzuki, Yamaha, Ducati. And through it all, one truth remains constant: dominance never lasts forever. Passion, intelligence, and courage always find a way to strike back. Aprilia's story isn't just about racing. It's about defiance, the refusal to accept that greatness belongs only to the giants. It's about believing that a team with less power on paper can still win with heart, with craft, with relentless faith. And as the lights go out on the 2025 season, a new light flickers on the horizon. It's not red. It's black, trimmed with silver and burning with purpose. Aprilia is no longer chasing history. They're writing it. In the quiet of the paddock, long after the crowd has gone, the message is clear, and it's one Ducati can no longer ignore: the age of domination is ending. The age of defiance has begun.